Star Trek. Number one.
Makes me want to do
Number
that.
one.
It's like, no, I'm doing a Picard thing.
I got a text from my mommy. She said,
From my mom.
yeah, from my
Go
mommy.
on.
She, cause I got my flu shot today.
Yeah.
And she said, good job. that's the text. It's just, she said,
You have to initiate that.
oh,
She had
very
no
good,
idea.
son. Well, cause I said, mother, I got my flu shot today. And then 20 minutes later, she's like, oh, very good, son. And it is.
That's great.
It's very good.
That's all I got.
Hello, space friends, and welcome to the New Eden Review Dev Show, or as I'm calling it this time, not the Alliance Tournament, because I think we've all had quite enough Alliance Tournament lately, if I'm to be perfectly honest. All of this nonsense with explosions and, glory and boundaries and all those kinds of things.
And fun.
Yeah, that's right. I think it's
Well-
time we just have a conversation about some good old-fashioned EVE Online and what's been going on around the community lately. So I want to start that off with introducing the people that I have in the room with me. I have CCP Bee.
Hello.
I have CCP Swift.
Hi.
I have CCP Jötunn.
Inshallah.
We should bring the test head for you to stroke while you sit there.
I do feel like I need to, like, I just need to, many people have asked me why we had that head in the office, and they don't understand. It's always,
It's just here.
I don't know
Yeah.
who brought, how long has it been there?
It's
It's quite a while. It's
feels-
been at least 6 years.
Yeah.
it feels like as long as I can
It
remember.
was in the old office as well.
Yeah.
So
think
it made the move.
I think a lot of people don't understand that, like, my commitment to that bit is, like, intrinsic now to my whole personality. I did join the Dreadit Discord last night, not
Okay.
for any specific reason. I don't see any channels. I just, like, I'm in the public channel, just like, hello, my children.
Just for immersion
Yes,
in
of
the
course.
role, like
Yeah.
you're method acting.
yeah,
right now. You're basically
exactly what
you're
it
the
is.
Daniel Day-Lewis
I am the
of
Daniel
EVE Online.
Day-Lewis of EVE Online.
He gets home, puts on one of those inflatable dino suits, and just walks around the lounge room.
I drink your. I'm thinking of an Eve reference. I'll come.
I'll dub something. Really,
Thank you.
really
But
nice. Yeah,
but yeah,
great.
having the dino head was key, man. It was. I spoke to me, actually, not just like metaphorically, but like, it actually spoke to me. I heard its voice. And
Did it say dreaded is recruiting?
It did actually, just kind of on repeat, and I was like, "All right, dinosaur head, like, calm down." But it was just like, it looked at me. There was one night after we were done, we'd all wrapped, everybody was starting to go home, and I walked by the office and it was sitting there, and it goes, "CCP Jötunn." And I'm like, "Not again, head."
Middle management dino, leave me alone.
He goes, "No, seriously this time though. Listen." I'm like, "Fine, Dino, what do you need?" And I walk. He's like, "Come here, listen." Okay, so I looked around, make sure nobody saw me, and I walked in there. I'm like, what is he? He goes, "Dreaded is recruiting." I'm like, "God damn it, Dino, not seriously."
He got you again.
Yeah.
He
got
got
you
me. The
again.
damn dinosaur got me again.
But I'm told that they are recruiting. So
They are in fact
unironically.
recruiting.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can just wander into their Discord anytime you
They
like.
have a command in their Discord, which is just exclamation mark Jötunn, and it's the clip from Twitch chat where I don't know why I said it. I thought it was, I guess in the moment I thought it was funny, where I said our tiny dinosaur arms will reach the sky and with them we shall kill God. And that's a command in their Discord now, which is
nice.
hell yeah. All right, we're gaming. Let's do it. Anyway, there's other stuff going on though.
And what are we talking about again? Oh yeah, we're doing a podcasty type show type thing.
Oh my God.
All right, so lately, Crimson Harvest has just concluded.
Yes.
And Crimson Harvest is one of the most popular live events that we do every year. Everyone anticipates it and gets excited about it because there's a lot of potential loot on the line, lots of interesting sites to do. And we introduced some new content this time around with a whole bunch of new kinds of sites that you can do. And we also carried over the escalation, which we did for a previous live event. It escapes me which one right now. But even though the event had been running for about 3 weeks, we suddenly just sort of changed things up a bit by changing the where sites will spawn and some of the content that's available. And we also had this really incredible, in my opinion, final conclusion to the reward track where you could get a crate, and inside that crate you had a chance of getting. You would get a blueprint copy for a Blood Raiders ship.
Yeah.
But that could be any Blood Raiders ship. So you
Yes.
might get a crew ore. But there's also a very slim chance you might get like a Moloch, which is kind of insane. So I completed the track. I got myself a Balgorn. You went a little bit harder than that, though, didn't you?
In the last week of the event, as you were talking about, we added the extended reward track that had that crate that could have anything in there. And I was just in E-Vegas.
Thirsty. Absolutely
So
thirsty.
I needed all the crates. So as many as I could like muster myself into doing. So I got, I think 3 Balgorns, 2 Ashimus, and 2 Crewers.
Damn.
That's a lot of crates that you
It's a lot of crates.
Yeah. And I know some people were like really smart and they were just kind of like
Selling the crates?
multi-boxing all the time.
Oh, okay.
Selling your crates was the smart
was
move.
the smart
No.
I really want us to find out at some point what the great redistribution of wealth was during Crimson Harvest from people who were buying up crates with the hope that they could get a Moloch BPC, and the people who were selling their crates and making an absolute fortune on those crates.
I only wanted the Dagon. Like I didn't
Dagon
want
would
the
be good.
Moloch. They could keep the Moloch.
Yeah.
But I wanted that Dagon.
I just wanted to open the box. I wanted the dopamine hit from what's it going to be, and clicking on the thing. So yeah, that's
You're like
I
weighing
got into that.
weighing the crates, being like, "Is this a heavy crate? Is
Yeah.
this a heavy?" It's like people who watch fucking card openings will understand that it's a heavy crate.
But we buffed the crew and the Ashimu as well. So like even though there was suddenly a big increase in supply of those ships, there was already also a concurrent like big increase in demand.
Yeah.
For it. So it kind of like evened out really nicely.
I think we did that at the smart like time as well, not to do it mid AT,
Yeah.
but wait until AT was done.
Yep.
And then go, actually, we've had this one cooking for a little bit. And here's the last week. Here's these two ships are now much cooler.
Here's a little something extra.
Yeah, they are legitimately very good now.
Yep.
Like they're a lot of fun to fly.
Yeah, unlike Starfleet Commander, I am an Ashimu enjoyer. I think we were doing a lift to feed. I so seldom get to fly during lift to feeds because I'm usually the one pressing the buttons. But a few weeks ago, we did a lift to feed.
It was just last Friday.
Was it last Friday?
Yeah.
Where I was flying the Ashimu?
Yes.
Was it really that recently? Wow.
Yep.
Everything's just been such a blur lately with the
Yeah.
AT and all that. But I got to fly the Ashimu because I liked it when it was sucked.
Yeah.
You know? Even then, I was just like, this is a cool
If you
spaceship.
can't handle me at
And
my
I
ass shit moo, you don't deserve me at my ass. Listen. I got nothing.
Look,
I ran out of steam.
I
on
can
that
only
one, too.
dub so many of these.
I got halfway through and I was like, I can make it up the rest by the end, right? I cannot.
We got
A
close.
sheesh move.
A sheesh moo. There we go. I'll tell you the thing I like about Crimson Harvest is it really does offer something for everybody, right? Because you have the PvE track that people are interacting with, where you can go out and you can run the sites, and the sites were very cool this year. I thought they did a lot of cool work on the new sites. And there's like that gets more people out in space, gets more people doing cool stuff. But then also you have the 90% loot drop and the pod drop that came with it. And as a bit of a PvP enthusiast myself,
No.
I know. There's nothing quite like watching 90% loot drop grids afterwards because, normally on a fight grid, people, you do your killing, you do your dirty business. Afterwards, everyone's like, okay, let's like somebody drop an MTU, like let's start to wrap up and get out of here. And then, but during 90% loot drop, no. Suddenly it's like, quick, check the battleships, like get up, send the scepters in,
Bring out the cormorants.
let's go. So
Fit a tractor beam
Yeah.
instead of
Yeah.
just any utility high
hell yeah.
out there in a scimitar with all tractor beams.
And the fact that we did it during the AT was super cool too, because suddenly you have flagships that are now being killed with 90% loot drops, and those are some flashy ass loot drops. So that was pretty cool.
We had flags going down, dropping Tobias webs.
Yes.
That were getting looted by another team and put on their flagship,
Yeah.
and then
Yes.
getting
Dropping
blown up
again.
and dropping again
Hell
because
yeah.
the loot thing was so high. It's like this weird sort of like Mad Max thing where people are just like scavenging and just sticking bits onto their own ships, just to sort of level up as they go. It's like Pickle Rick, like making his way through the sewer.
It's Pickle Rick's monster.
That's part of my
Sorry.
ignorance. Yeah, sorry. It's a classic mistake that a
course.
lot of people make that misunderstanding.
mistake.
Yes, right. And during, I spent most of my time in my little quiet little corner of like my little high sec island, my secret fishing spot where I like to go to do events by myself and have people leave me alone.
Same.
Which everyone else does. It's not quiet. Don't get me wrong. It's not quiet, but it's better, I think, than trying to fight over all the sites constantly, like sort of around Jita and things like
if
that.
you do it near a trade hub or
Yeah.
just like around a popular area, it's so annoying because people go in and you have to contest with it. You have to decide, do I want to be the jerk and just like steal their loot?
Yeah, I want to go hide in a little corner and like not have people how dare people interrupt me in my multiplayer game?
Yeah.
While I'm trying to run sites in space, I just go to my quiet little spot and I'm generally left alone there pretty well. But I basically just painted by numbers. I did what I did for most events, which was essentially just a mix of the combat sites and some of the exploration sites. But I understand, Swift, you did a lot of the. Remind me the name of these new sites.
So the new ones that were added were their class 1, 2, and 3 biosecurity incident sites, which is kind of like a swarm mode where you warp into the sites. They're capped at destroyers, and the NPCs just kind of spawn for 10 minutes, and you have to like kill them off. There are cool little things that you can shoot that'll just do AoE damage and explode around to clear out some of the enemies. And yeah, it was just a lot of fun. It gave me a good excuse to fly the Mamba, which
nice.
I just like saying Mamba.
Yeah, yeah.
And like I've had one ever since they came out, and I never really used it because I was like, I'll just use something better.
I feel like we tweaked the Mamba in the summer expansion. Or
yeah. Got a bit of a buff as well.
in September, right?
Yeah,
So I got to
update.
use a rocket Mamba with a bunch of drones and just vibe there. And yeah, just kill the little shuttles as they popped up too.
Hell yeah.
Really good time.
Nice. All right.
I didn't run any sites.
No.
Me neither.
Yeah. What were you doing instead? You were neck deep in.
I rage rolled 50 holes last night.
You're a
and
wormhole,
found
yeah.
nothing. So that was what I was doing in my time. Convict.
Yeah,
That's what I was doing.
He started out just rolling holes, and it was by the end of by the 50th one, it was rage rolling
Yeah.
because he's just like.
It starts out as vibe
pushing
rolling,
mass
and
back
it
and
ends
forth.
as
Yeah.
like rage rolling. Yeah, it was wild. No, I mean, I think, but that's the thing. Like, I guess this is what the point was making before was that it really, like, it does offer something for everybody, right? Even if you don't have any interest in running the sites, I typically don't run most event sites, not because I'm like,
You're too cool for the events.
I'm just saying, generally, it's just not my jam most of the time.
That's fine.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. It's fine because the event offers other cool stuff. I mean, I'll tell you what was been real nice. The Ashmu buff, the career buff. Now that there are all these extra BPCs out here for Balgorns and stuff. Prices have maybe come down a little bit on some of these things. Like these are all great improvements for the general PvP environment. On top of course, all the other cool stuff for everybody else too, which
There's
is
been
neat.
some really fun videos also that have been like starting to be released now of people who are just smart bombing capsules in pipe systems.
I've seen a couple of those.
Yeah. And they're just like, okay, now that the event's over, here's what you should have been doing the whole time.
Yes.
Here's my like 135 bill worth of implants that I've looted.
Oh my god.
And it was just like, boop,
Yeah.
boop,
I mean, it is that's like the pod drop by itself is pretty legit because one of the things that you really get a good kick out of in the worm space is whenever you kill a scanner that's got a virtue pod in, and normally you just get like that feeling of warmth. It's like, that's gonna look good on Z kill. But when you can then pull those virtues out and you're like, these are my virtues now, my friend. That's a different kind of satisfaction, I think. That really warms the whole rim. You know what I mean?
I don't, but I
Yep.
think I get the gist.
feel
yeah.
like it's somewhere internal.
Hey.
Set it in the chest
Hey.
region.
You understand?
I do.
All right.
All right, let's pivot. Let's pivot from Crimson Harvest and PvE events. Let's talk about something that's been going on in the background for the last few weeks, and that is the CSM elections.
Yep.
We've gone from the announcement of CSM, all of the people signing up, doing the background checks, getting them to post their campaign sort of threads, the CSM interviews that we did on CCP, the campaign period, and now we're into the voting period, and it's almost over. Or how long we got to
Monday,
go,
right?
CCP Swift?
Yes. So the voting period in previous years was just a week. We extended it to 2 weeks just to cover 2 weekends because we had so much stuff going on. If you were in the AT, maybe you weren't voting and stuff like that. So yeah, the elections do end next Monday. So you should make sure to go out and vote. Everyone that does vote, you also, after the elections are over, can get the Metamorphosis ship in the New Eden store. So you just get a happy little
Get a little
Metamorphosis
spaceship.
to like
Yep.
fly around in.
We don't though. We don't get to vote.
No, we don't get to vote.
Yeah, we don't get to
No,
vote. It's a bummer.
it literally doesn't work. You go to the voting page with a CCP player. If you're just on your player account, you work for CCP. They have like a little flag on it to say this guy works at CCP, and you can't go to the CSM channels and vote. So.
Discrimination, really. If it is 1984.
I'm an informed voter.
Yeah.
Why is CCP
I'm
taking
very
my franchise
informed.
away from me?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. CCP Swift is a monster. I mean, don't tell him I said that.
But if you haven't voted yet, there are some really great resources out there. These candidates, there are 55 candidates,
A lot this year.
a ton. This is a high water mark for the last 10 years in terms of people wanting to throw their hat in the ring. They've all done like podcasts. They've all done like talks. Eve University has done some hosted some like information about how to vote and like what it means.
I know Kashal Aderon did a whole big series of interviews too.
Yeah,
which
Kashal
was-
Aderon, Shad Squatch, and
And of course, you guys did as well.
Yeah, CCP
which was
TV.
quite the grind,
yep, that was fun.
I'm sure.
Love just chatting to people. It sucks that it's only like a 5 to 10 minute thing for each candidate, but it's enough. It's the amuse bouche of
Having done 2 of those interviews, I can tell you right now, it is an insane, because you spend so much time prepping for it, because it's like a lot of times for a lot of people, it's like the biggest spotlight they're going to have during the campaign. Right?
Yeah.
Because,
Yeah.
you know, you might get more time on another stream, but you're not going to get nearly as many eyes on it because of the viewers. But it's only like 10 minutes. So you're really like thinking, okay, I'm going to get in there. I'm going to ask him, I'm going to do this. And you sit down and you look at his face, and then about 5 seconds later, it's over. And you're like, oh, that was weird. But it's cool too to see how different people react to it, because some people get in there and they're just super chill and oh, whatever, and they have a good time and then they're done. And then some people go in there and they are prepared. I do not think I was one of the ones who was prepared when I ran for CSM a couple years ago.
Yeah, but that just kind of goes to show like how the CSM is an institution. You don't need to be like a super extrovert. You don't need to be giga-planned. You can just go in there and vibe and talk about what makes EVE important to you. And that's really all that the people need to hear.
Do you think, CCP Swift, that the increased it does feel like there's been increased attention on this CSM election, both from players and from candidates? Obviously, you mentioned that we are kind of at a high watermark for candidates who are interested in running for the CSM. Do you think that the success of the last CSM, which I think we can all agree was they did a pretty good job on the whole?
No, I think they did a really good job.
Okay, thank you. I was going to moderate my answer, but you were absolutely right. They did do a very good job on the whole. Do you think that success that they had has inspired more people to want to get involved because they say, okay, we've seen what they can do and we want that for ourselves?
Yeah, and there's also a bunch of new people on CSM 19 as well for this outgoing CSM. We had a big amount of turnover of people, and also the other thing that kind of makes a big difference is CCP can now select people who finished between 11 and 20. So you don't have to get into the top 10. You just have to break the top 20, which feels achievable.
Yeah. And then have a compelling argument.
And then CCP Okami, CCP Ritati, and CCP Burger will be like, here's what we know that we're going to be working on for the next year and a half. Here are the type of personalities that we want to augment the CSM with.
Cool. Oh, yeah.
Neato.
Love
All right.
that.
CSM.
Yeah.
CSM.
So go vote. Exercise
Vote
your
early,
democratic-
vote often.
You can vote on
Only once.
You can vote with any account which is Omega and more than 60 days old.
Correct.
Yeah. So if you fit that bill, go be democratic and make sure you fill out your old ballot, or at least the top 6.
Yeah.
So that your vote, if your first preference candidate doesn't get elected, your ballot will then go on to your second preference, and if they don't make it, it'll go to your third preference, and so on. So by putting at least 6 on there, you've got a reasonable chance of your vote actually finding a home and counting towards one of the candidates. If you put just 1 or 2, there's a good chance that if those 2 candidates fail to be elected, then your vote just gets exhausted and falls in the bin.
Yeah.
So
Those down ballot votes really do make a difference
Yeah.
too. I mean, I have been lucky in the past to have been on some down ballot, been down ballot on some pretty big ballots, and by the time some of the people who were above me in that ballot had gotten out, suddenly I'm now the recipient of several votes. Well, several hundred votes.
Yeah.
Sorry, again moderating too much, but several hundred votes. And that does make a big difference, especially for some of those candidates who can. And those are always the ones that feel like they kind of sneak in at the end.
Yeah.
The ones who are just kind of hanging on. At the very end, it feels like, okay, now enough people have been eliminated above them that they've just gotten this windfall of votes all of a sudden, and that's pretty cool.
That's when it gets exciting.
Yeah, it's very cool. Are we gonna do a whole breakdown stream like you've done before, or you have the board, you got the line, the arrows, and
that's the plan. It'll probably look a little bit better than in previous years, but yeah.
It's okay. It's always very attractive. I like, because I'm a simple man. I need to carry this thing around with me. I'm a simple man. I don't do number good. They mostly pay me just to talk here. So when I look at the screen, you've got all these numbers and the pluses and the minus. I'm just sitting here like, what number do? But then you put the arrow on, and I'm like, get it. It's like monkey brain activates.
number go here.
I see arrow, and I'm like, ooh, good. I get it. Okay.
Yep. Cool. All right. So yes, go vote. Exercise your democratic rights. Vote early and vote often, as they say. Turning a little bit now to sort of some of the more player-centric matters in the game, like out in Nullsec, it's been a couple of weeks now since war were declared. Is it a war? Is it
It's
technically
definitely
war?
war were declared.
Is war
Yes.
were
Yeah.
declared between the Initiative and WinterCo?
It doesn't have a good name yet.
No, it hasn't sort of gotten to has it like casino war?
At what point does a war get a name, though?
Yeah.
I think once you start winning, like once one side clearly starts winning, and
Yeah.
then they're filled with hubris, then they get to name it. To
I think
whatever they want.
right now it's just like Mr. Shines and Noras's meet cute, where it's like a real will they won't they kind of situation. They'll look at each other from across the way, and they're just like, the tension is building, and they're like, just kiss.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just kiss, guys.
Well, on that front, I mean, it's I think both sides are kind of sort of claiming victories in certain ways. Initiative has certainly taken out a lot of threat structures throughout like Fade, but probably after the most recent sort of big fight they had over Frat Fortizar, where they just threw a whole bunch of hacks in the bin.
Yes.
They were probably like, they might be like a little bit negative after that. So the thing is, there's so many ways that you can interpret whether you're ahead or you're in front. You know, oh, you're losing the ISK war, you're winning the ISK war, we've blown up, we've got more kills, we're meeting our objectives. You know, like it's just, it's kind of really hard to disentangle it and figure out who's winning. What I do know though is that it has been really, really busy. Just recently, Frat swept through Iridia and basically refed, like I think, dozens of Initiative Metanoxes which are in the system, and Initiative had to go out and repair those. And there was that fight that I alluded to the other week. Was it just this weekend?
It was this weekend.
This weekend, yeah, where Initiative committed really hard to taking out WinterCo Fortizar and just kept feeding
Zealots, so many zealots
into the meat grinder. Apparently, they had their logi guys. When I say logi, I don't mean space priests. I mean like, you know, transport logistics. They had their logi guys like hauling fresh zealots from Jita by buying out the entire market in Jita and bringing them out for people who are waiting to reship to go back into the meat grinder for that fight.
That is my favorite part of these types of conflicts because that's where like the high-sec industrialists who will never, ever go into nullsec or don't care to go into nullsec, just doing their own thing, they're looking at this like, oh shit, nice.
Yeah.
These guys are blowing each other up. Like suddenly we're inventing some
Suddenly
omens.
their wallet is pinging as their buy orders get snapped up. You know, like what's going on here? I've only sold 3 of these in the last week. Now I've sold 20 in the last 5 minutes. What the hell?
Yeah. And then you can just buy like all the scorch and relist it. And they're just gonna buy it.
Yeah.
It's really interesting when we talk about, because you mentioned like what is a win in this case, right? Because in that situation, Init did kill the fort. Right, but at the cost of like 150 billion ISK, right? To I think Frat lost maybe 25, 30 bill. So it was a pretty. If you talk about ISK victory, Frat obviously took the ISK victory, and they had dreads on grid. They were they were shredding.
I saw Lance go through.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. It was hot, some hot stuff. I mean, I was on grid watching it from my little like I was just keeping an eye out things and be like, this is pretty spicy stuff, and it was. But what I think is really interesting about wars in Eve, especially in Eve, is that, you know, you have the ISK war, you have the objective, you know, the ISK victory, the objective victory, all those things.
Propaganda war as well.
And that's the thing. So the propaganda victory is really like, it was funny. I was watching Pando, our good friend Pando Ralica, the other night on his stream, and he was talking about whether or not like the propaganda victory actually matters. Like, is that a thing that people actually care about? And the thing is, the most important thing in EVE Online, as it is, and I'm sure any other kind of game like EVE that does something similar, is the most important thing is getting people to log in and getting people in your fleets, right? Yeah. You can have all the money in the world, and a lot of these null groups have significant funds, but if they don't have people logging in and people sitting in ships, then it doesn't matter. You can have all that money, and it doesn't really do anything for you if you don't have pilots, right? So yes, commanding a narrative is important, but also just getting rallying the boys around and girls and all the pals we've got, right? Getting everybody together, getting everybody all hyped up and good to go. Like, these are the things that win wars.
Yeah, there have absolutely been wars that have lost just because the line members decided, got burned out or frustrated or felt like they weren't making any progress or felt like it was unwinnable and didn't log in. And this is something that has been weaponized successfely by many alliances over the years, whether that's like prolonged bubble camps of stations that stretch for days until people are just like,
I'm done.
I'll come back in a week or two and hopefully we'll go down to the pub for a pint, wait for
what you mentioned about like one side claiming ISK war and the other one objective war in engagement, that's a really healthy place as well, because both sides can be like, no, we won because of this. No, we won because of that. So both members are still riled up.
And what I think is super cool about that specifically is that it's going to be really interesting to see, you know, especially in this war, maybe more so than the war between Horde and Goons on the other side, which I know we're going to talk about a little bit here in a little bit, which is there's just not quite as much going on over there right now. But this Init and Frat thing in both these groups are fairly active and doing things basically all the time. I mean, I don't know if there's
well, they are kind of also in different time zones as well. So that means that there's always this. There's not really sort of an ebb, it's like a wave.
Thing,
it's just constantly going. Yeah,
which is cool, and it'll be interesting to see how their definition of victory develops over time. Because certainly right now, I'm sure after the last objective, Mr. Shines was probably sitting there going, "Yeah, man. Hey, listen, ISK doesn't matter, baby. The objective is what matters. That's what's important. And we did the objective. We've got it done. And I'm sure if there's a big fight in a couple weeks where they don't win the objective but are massively ISK positive, he'll be like, hell yeah, baby. We won the ISK war. Let's go. Fuck the objective. You see how much shit we killed? Hell yeah." So it'll be fun to see how that turns out.
Yeah.
Imagine that with an Irish accent.
I don't see this one ending with like, Initiative living in low sec, or the North, or the blob extending from Fountain to the North with an Initiative flag right at the top.
Yeah,
I think it's just going to end, but I just don't know what's going to happen between now and then.
You know what I really like? We're not seeing goons come help in it. We're not seeing Horde come help.
It's
FRT.
awesome.
Things are still fragmented. There are still 4 like power blocks, so to speak.
Yeah,
or alliances or group or whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
It's really good to see that we're not seeing just an exodus out of the Dronelands area to come only fight in the north.
Yep.
Yeah. The resets are holding up, as it were.
They are holding up. And there's also just a bunch of activity down further southwest too. Like all the whole Delve area, Aquarius, like all that, like that the space that was abandoned by goons back when they moved.
Yeah, I was going to say on that, just because the reset is holding up doesn't mean people haven't necessarily been sort of like forming alliances though. Because I remember Fraternity tried to set up a fort in Aquarius.
That's right.
As like a sort of, I think like a backdoor beachfront to sort of open a second front. But Initiative went and destroyed that. But they had help from Only Fleets, who were like the locals that lived there now. There was a big, I think it was an Only Fleets Raven fleet that was there helping them out with that. And similarly, Initiative have just established a Keepstar now right on the very front line, rubbing up next to Fade, because
That's right.
Triumvirate set the Keepstar up for them because it's their space, so it can anchor much faster because it's their sovereignty.
Yeah,
and then they transfer it to things. So Initiative was the one who sort of like made the big proclamation about doing, resetting everybody and going it alone as a strong independent alliance. But they're still taking help from these other groups who admittedly probably have a mutual interest in assisting them. It's not necessarily just helping. I mean, Only Fleets probably doesn't want Frat dicking around their space and setting up Fort Azars. And
let's also not forget that like PL very recently also joined.
That is true.
Oh yeah.
Just a
joined
couple of
WinterCo.
Sorry,
we use these things interchangeably.
All 7 people in Pandemic Legion recently joined the WinterCo.
Yeah.
But it isn't like the entirety of like goons coming to help.
That's right.
Yeah.
I don't even know if they would. Same with like Horde coming up to help. I'm not sure.
Well, that's probably a good opportunity to pivot to that because they've kind of got their own thing. Neither of them probably wants to like pack up and redeploy, to help either of those guys because they've got beef with each other right now, like on their own border. So what's happening? I'm a little bit more vague on this front. What's happening with Horde and Imperium at the moment?
Well, the Keepstar in MJ got unanchored, and that's like a historic spot for a Keepstar.
That's like a Horde, like historical Keepstar.
Yes. I don't know how long it was in there, but I've had so many fights in MJ. Like this dates back years and years of them having that as like their bastion of control.
Yeah,
really.
that goes down to when Horde actually moved into the drone regions. That was kind of like their main base of operations because it's like very uniquely geographically located where there's so many things around it. So it's a great place to base out of.
I've seen a lot of people, and obviously we don't take sides on these issues. I mean, aside from my supportive test, always test.
Who are in WinterCo?
Who are in? Well, okay. Let's dial it down here, Mr. Swift. But I have seen some people criticize the. That was really funny, by the way.
It's PL.
I have seen some people criticize.
That's okay. We're both in.
We're an issue.
You're one step away from being a dinosaur
balance,
yourself,
right?
So,
like even representation here.
I'm the only true neutral. Aside from being on the Meta show for 3 years. Anyway, okay, so what I think is kind of interesting is I've heard a lot of people criticize pulling up the Keepstar in MJ because it didn't really seem like there was a need for it, right? Like, if you want to move your staging around, you certainly can do that. And they did. They've moved forward. They've moved back a little bit. But you always had this Keepstar in MJ, which had a lot of stuff in it from players who maybe aren't playing right now or players who are, just maybe a little bit inactive or have been inactive. And now the problem is if these players come back to the game at some point, all this stuff is going to be an asset safety or in the case of some of their pods, just gone. Right. So that is kind of, I feel like maybe put them in a tough spot because if now you are Horde and goons make some big offensive and you want to rally the troops, do whatever the Horn version of the the Horde version of the Horn of
Gundor,
Gundar
yeah.
is or Gundar.
Gundor.
Gundar. Oh, Jesus Christ, long day. Gundor. It's going to be a lot harder to do that now because all of those guys who are coming back now have to say like, oh, wait, well, hang on a second. All my stuff is locked up in a low-sec station. I have to go back and get it and then move it back to where we lived already. That's a tough thing to do. So I understand that obviously the logistics during war, and I'm sure they have a reason for it. It's probably a great reason for it. I don't want to sit here and criticize because I don't know any of the details, but that is put people in a little bit of a bind. I'm curious to see what the ramifications of that will be going forward.
Yeah.
Didn't they have a bunch of months to?
Yeah, they had several months warning. Like this wasn't.
And really, to be clear, this is not that much different than what happened in 1DQ, right? In 1DQ, goons knocked down their own keep. Obviously, it was a big deal for them at the time. 1DQ was the most populated keep star in the game.
Another one of these historical structures.
Another historical structure that they've then taken down. So it is a very similar thing, but at least when goons were doing it, it did make a little bit more sense, I think, because they were moving really far away. They weren't going to keep a vanguard back to defend 1DQ, specifically defend that keep star, right? So it really was just to burn your boats and move ahead. But I mean, MJ, if they had, from where Horde is stationed or from where Horde is based out of right now, they really could have probably still just defended MJ as they had in the past, if they just wanted to leave it up and just keep it powered and and then if someday someone shows up and wants to knock it down, then you can rally the homies and get everybody over there. So we'll see.
It is a good way to force everyone to move to your new staging.
That is true. That is a great point you've made.
Because now you can't live in your old staging because it doesn't live there anymore.
It's
There is no staging.
The house is gone.
Yeah.
You go over, it's just an empty lot. You're like, well, shit, I guess I'll go where everyone else is now.
I know that the keep in MJ was one of those like perennial structures that you probably thought would be forever. But I think at the end of the day, if you're taking and maybe I'm being a bit harsh, I don't know, but my attitude has been like, if you're going to be away from me for a while, you can't leave things in a citadel because at the very least it'll end up in asset safety, right? And worst case scenario probably wouldn't happen for a nullsec alliance, but maybe you live in a wormhole or another group that just lets the structure go abandoned. You lose all your stuff. That is,
I think, probably a culture.
It's inconvenient, but it's also kind of like it's an
You
avoidable
should know
problem.
better. Right, you should know better.
Plus, you could just sell
And
all your
especially,
stuff,
and if
find
you're
new stuff.
actually, I was going to say though, thinking about it, in drone lands, you don't necessarily have the convenience of a little piece of NPC nullsec with some NPC stations right next door. You could probably just you're probably just like one carrier jump away from where you can, or one jump freighter away.
Some NPC space in drone lanes.
It's fine.
Okay, all right.
Don't even go there. Don't even go there.
They can park it in Gemini.
There we go. There we go.
Yeah.
Put a pala.
Yeah, that's where all this stuff is probably going to go anyways, right?
For legal reasons, by the way, chat, that is a joke. Just so we're very clear. I don't need anybody keying my car. I don't have a car, but I don't need anybody keying my cat.
Or like rage rolling into your home.
Please rage roll into me.
He would welcome
I am begging. Somebody please rage roll into me. My God.
I was going to move on to something else, but I just wanted to I was just thinking about like the 1DQ keep and the MJ keep. It got me thinking about other things like Fort Knox.
Yeah, Fort Knox.
Which was Hard Knox's HQ one. The Trinity Trading Tower.
Yeah.
Really interesting how Citadels has resulted in like these kind of iconic structures, that basically have their own culture around them and their own sort of legacy, almost like as significant as like some characters in the game, right? And I suppose is that a function of familiarity when you have so many players who become accustomed to this thing being there, whether it's the Palace 1DQ, MJ, the
and
TTT.
It just feels like it becomes part of the game as well. Like it's just the other one that comes to mind is the Amamaki Keep Star. Like if you live in Losec, that is the Keep Star that you have, or that you have access to, and it's just kind of neat that it's there, and you get used to going there. You have your habits that you go into, and it just becomes like a fixture of your version of Eve.
I think about it a lot in the same way that you like sailors talk about ships, right? Because sailors live on ships for long periods of time, and there's a certain like anthropomorphization of those vessels while they're living there, right? It's not just the place where I have my stuff.
Yeah.
It's like this is a living thing that I rely on.
Yeah.
And I rely on its health to make sure that I am still alive and well and like successful in what we're trying to accomplish here.
Yeah, maybe that's sailors, at least in like certain Western cultures and stuff, will refer to they'll give ships pronouns. They refer to them as she or he, depending on what culture you come from. That's a little bit more personal than calling it an it or a thing.
And I think a lot of that carries over to structures as well.
Because ships in EVE Online don't fulfill that same role because they're generally seen as very disposable things.
Right.
You might have a couple of special ships, like maybe a ship that you won some sort of tournament with that sits in your hangar. You've probably got a few of them. I've got one.
I've got a crow with large rigs on it.
Yeah,
that I just don't ever want to.
I've got a Scorp Navy issue which is in low hull that I used in a tournament once, which will never be repaired and never flown again. It's just sitting there. But apart from those, because since most ships are disposable, perhaps those ones that are people then instead turn to structures, something more permanent, which they sort of project that kind of like association onto.
I think that's an important. I think that's true to just about any kind of group of players, right? I was talking to a group of people last night just about like corp culture and alliance culture in the game, and it's really interesting how different groups do it. Have different sense of ownership over different things, right? I have never, just to use an example, and I'm sure chat will be split 50-50 on how aggravating I'm going to be about this, but I was talking to some people last night about goons specifically because I've never been a goon myself. I've obviously fraternized with goons in the past, especially one brisk screwball, and for better or worse, and it's been really interesting being like a third party watching that from the outside in because they definitely have a culture. Like it or not, the culture is strong.
Oh yeah,
they have. You can think they're annoying or think they're aggravating or think they're obnoxious. They have got it kind of figured out how everybody interacts with each other and interacts with the game, and a lot of that too is I think a sense of like ownership, not just of the space you're in, but of like the structures that make that space, right? It's not just about having a house; it's about having the furniture too.
It's not a house; it's a home.
That's exactly right. CCP Convict. That's exactly right. It's not just a house; it's a home. It's not a keep star; it's a keep
safe.
Nailed it.
I'm nailing it.
I nailed it first try.
Keep safe.
Better than I did.
It goes here.
It's not an Astra house; it's an Astra home. But it wouldn't be because okay. Never mind.
Yeah, those ones. No one really cares.
No one really cares about those.
No.
Actually, I don't normally do this in streams and recordings, but I would actually be interested. With people watching this video, leave your thoughts on that in the comments. Like, what you think? If anyone actually knows, like, what is this projection of identity that we put onto structures and ships and stuff? Why we do that? Has it got a name? Talk about it. And like, if you've got a home, a structure, or something like that that's like near and dear to your heart, that may or may not be around anymore, tell us about it.
Hell yeah!
Or even
really
a system.
Cool.
Like my corp has a system that one time 15 years ago we managed to take a Technetium moon there. Yeah, that moon doesn't exist there anymore. Like that's the
Technetium got rebalanced. Yeah,
it doesn't. But it's in Arvstalled, and we still like think about that as our home base.
Yeah, right.
To the annoying point that like someone always puts a corp office there and tries to make it like the corp HQ, and it's like super inconvenient when we try to like clone other places because we're just like in the middle of like a Minmatar Losag. And it's like, well, great guys.
I mean, system ownership is a huge deal in wormhole space because you really only have the one system that you live in, and then just whatever you happen to be connected to at any given time. But like, I mean, hell, when my group that I formed years and years ago lived in a C4, we called it Rome, and that was just that was home. I mean, we
you guys give names to
these.
They've all got names.
No one else does it.
I know. It is kind of
well, wormholes kind of don't have names already, and arguably nullsec systems like sub-null systems, even though they're just like a random collection of letters and numbers, you can sort of extract personality from them because sometimes the letters spell out words.
I was going to say,
but that's not the case for wormhole space.
Yeah, it just and the fact that they're all so similar, it kind of makes it difficult too. 1DQ is very different from like CTAC-N, right? Those feel very different. They have a very different mouthfeel.
I knew you were going to say
that's exactly it. That's exactly it. So like you don't talk about like when people talk about like the eviction of rage, or or the second eviction of rage. They're not talking. No one knows the JTAG outside of people who in wormhole space or people who were in Hard Knocks at the time. Like they just think, oh, that's rage. That is what that hole is called, right? Yeah. I know that when I roll into J151909, that's Laser Hawkistan. That's not J151909. That's just it's a hole that's got big letters on it. That goes, hey, this is Hawks. Just FYI, So like we live in a hole. My corp As a player, to be very clear, as a player, my corp lives in a hole. We live in a hole.
Jötunn lives in a hole.
I do live in a hole. I mean, we had this conversation yesterday. The parks. Never mind. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. We're gonna get to that later. That's for a different stream. But our hole is called Glory. Listen, it made a lot more sense when the corp was called Turbofeed or Glory.
Oh yeah, okay,
all right,
cool.
everybody, okay, get your laughs.
You got
in.
some coverage. You got some coverage.
Laughs in chat. I understand, but. And like different groups every group does this. Like every group has a name for that. God damn it!
Just keep talking.
I know. To wrap this all up, all this is to say, different groups in the game have different ways they express. I feel like that same kind of emotion of ownership towards a place where you feel like this is the most safe haven. I mean, hell, the fact that goons were able to hold on to 1DQ for as long as it did is probably why it became so sentimental over time.
It's like the Alamo.
Yeah.
But with a happy ending for them. You know?
Exactly. Yeah. Which is, I think it's pretty cool. It is pretty cool to see, like, obviously there's the friendship, right? We talked about the greatest ship of the friendship. I think probably the second greatest ship is the structure ship.
Okay. It's weird. But
Sure.
He's a wormholer.
Yeah.
I've run out of things to say.
No, that's okay.
Thank
wow.
I know.
Someone takes it.
It's a first.
Record this moment. That's cool.
I'm spent.
Yeah, sorry about a bit of a segue, but just while we're talking about structures, I just sort of thought popped into my mind. But it was really cool.
One
to
last
talk
thing about the war, and the two conflicts that are going on the other side of the map. What I'm most excited for is what those maniacs in Lowsec are going to do.
Oh my god.
They're going to third party at some point. They're going to third party something.
They're just hovering.
And I do know that all of these like big groups are like, hey, you guys in Lowsec, can you just like not drop on us because we're bros, right? And they don't care who they were friends with
hey, man.
5 minutes ago.
Hey man, you good, man?
Yeah.
And Nullsec has been like third partying their fights in Lowsec for so fucking long now too.
Hey man, be cool, man, be cool.
And they have a lot more experience in dread brawls, just in this last year than a lot of Nullsec groups.
Yeah. They've been it's been some massive dread bombs and just things popping off in low sectoriness, fights, snuff and deep water flying around. Minmatar Fleet's getting pretty scary too as well.
Shout out to Bear that Cares, the truest homie. This is a little off topic. I know we have a list of other things.
No, screw the list. I mean, the idea is to have a cool conversation about Eve, and this is more. These are just like
the
things
rise
we could
of
talk
Minmatar
about.
Fleet has been so interesting to me because I remember back when Bear that Cares was a little scrubby wormhole shitter. This is not that long ago. I mean, when he lived Cryptid Gaming, shout out to Cryptid Gaming, and to go from that to what Fleet is now, which it really did kind of capture a certain zeitgeist in an area of space that had been kind of neglected up till that point. And then for them to be able to compete with the likes of, Deepwater and the likes of Snuffed and the likes of now Sedition, obviously from the last couple of years, like a lot of these low sec groups that have been traditionally very very powerful and have a lot of influence. They started from basically nothing and have turned into something that I think is really really cool.
Yeah.
So shout out to Fleet. I think. I'm over here.
You're over here.
They've got a great culture as well. Like the propaganda that they post.
Hell yeah.
Brings me tremendous joy.
A lot of rat Jesus stuff.
Oh yeah, the
So-
copy passer during the Alliance tournament, man, had me in stitches.
good.
All their stuff.
So good.
Just references to rats and nibbles and cheese.
Yep.
Just stuff. It's so good.
They've got it figured out, man.
Yeah, they've got a. I'm hesitant to call it a gimmick, but you know what I mean. Like they've got a thing.
Yeah.
That's their
but
thing.
the
whole rat god thing is.
This is another conversation I was having with some players last night. It is good when there are people in the game who like sell the bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there are a lot of things you can say about some of the more, let's call them animated voices of New Eden in the past. I think of people who are like some of the. I mean, I don't want to name names because I don't want anybody thinking I'm like being supportive necessarily of all of their antics, but. All this to say, if you think of some of the famous Eve videos or some of the famous Eve personalities, a lot of them were very like over the top, right? They were selling the fucking bit, and I do worry sometimes nowadays, and part of it is just because we've all kind of gotten older, and part of it is people have mellowed a little bit, and the game has just kind of changed a little bit over time. But then you have somebody who comes out of nowhere, and they're able to sell the bit like those people were.
It's a sort of a kind of a playfulness.
Yes,
which sometimes
it's a willingness to not just like be a bureaucrat, right?
Yeah.
It's very easy to sit there in your chair and say, here's how it's going to be, and blah 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 blah, and hey, we're going to deploy here, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do that, and then like that's it. But if you're able to get up in front of the troops and fucking give them a good shake. Like that's the sauce, baby. That's the good stuff.
Channel pattern or
Hell
whatever.
yeah. I mean, you gotta, that's what gets like. That's why people come back to the game. They don't come back to the game because they want to see a well-organized spreadsheet. But some people, to be very clear, some people certainly.
I've seen some very attractive spreadsheets.
I've seen a handful of very attractive spreadsheets. All this to say, like, I love it when people are able to do that, and I think that they've done that very well. They being Mimitar Fleet, to be very clear.
Yeah.
And honestly, a lot of those low-sec groups all have people like that. I mean, say what you want about Young Puke, too. I know a lot of people have strong opinions about Puke. I consider him a homie, and I think he's done a good job as well of absolutely going fucking mad in chat. And that's the thing that you need sometimes, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Build that personal brand.
just build that brand, baby. Hell yeah.
All right, let's move on. Let's talk about some player gatherings. I want to start by talking about the player gathering, which is coming next May. That would be FanFest.
It's only half a year away.
I know.
Crazy, dude.
Holy moly!
You can't imagine what it's like when we actually look at a calendar and you're like, oh, geez, it's only like 6-7 months to FanFest. And you're like,
I gotta say, I'm more excited about it than worried.
Yeah.
Previous years when you're not really going back to Harpa as well. That was like a bigger step.
Yep, Harper's cool.
I'm just really excited to have all the homies come to Iceland and hang out.
Me too, but I've got to say, there's a period, right, where it's like before like the actual complexion of FanFest, what it's going to be like is fully manifested in my mind, like questions about what's going to happen, what the content will be, what we're going to do, where it's like a lot of like like hand wringing and thinking, but then you do eventually get to a point as things fall into place and it sort of starts to take shape where I'm like, oh, this is going to be so sick, I can't wait till everyone gets here so they can see this. So we just sort of, I think I would call it it's like a trajectory where of uncertainty that slowly diminishes like an inverted hockey stick over time. Right now my uncertainty is high, but it's going to clear up in the next couple months.
Yeah, and because it's also such a big event for so many people that people really look forward to, there's a little bit of like stress on our end to make sure like it lives up to those expectations.
People spend a lot of money to come out here and a lot of time. I mean, it is for some people this is like the one vacation they'll take all year.
Yeah,
this come to FanFest.
Cold exploding rock is not easily accessible for a lot of people.
No. I came to FanFest.
Hey, do you know anybody who know anything about that?
Yeah, that's right. No, I came to FanFest like 5 years in a row. Like 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17. That's 5, right?
It's 150 hours on a plane, by the way.
Yeah, it is. From Australia. It's like, and your average flight is about 30 hours. So it's a 60-hour round trip.
Jeez,
but it was so worth it. I had the reason I came back and did that every single year, and then started going to Vegas every single year as well, was because I was having a fucking ball at FanFest and Vegas, hanging out with nerds and talking about internet spaceships. It was absolutely the best thing. The best thing. Some people, like you said, it would be like, for some people, I think someone said this before, it would be like, maybe like the bucket list once in a lifetime trip, they get to come to Iceland, beautiful country, wonderful nature, nice exotic location.
Food's good.
And go do your Internet Spaceships convention and be like, okay, that was nice. I'm glad I did that. That was it. But for some people like myself and probably some people watching this who haven't been to FanFest yet, they'll go to their first FanFest and they'll be like, well, I guess
this is what I do.
Yeah, this is my life now. Like, it's like I have to cancel all my travel plans to travel around Southeast Asia next year and South America the year after that. It's just going to be Iceland every year from now on.
It is kind of crazy. I mean, last year was my first FanFest ever, and I never got a chance to go as a player. Going as a dev was obviously a little bit different of an experience. But I always kind of, I think, had in my head what FanFest would be like because I'd been to other conventions, and other conventions are fine. I mean, usually it's the gathering is good, and you meet some people, and there's some nice displays, and then you go home and you're like, wow, that was a fun thing to do. I left FanFest this last year going like, holy shit, I can't believe I've deprived myself of this for the last 22 years. Like, that's insane. It's so much different than I think other gatherings. I think a lot of it has entirely to do with how different the EVE community is from communities in other games, which is to say clearly better. Like in almost every way.
Just to be clear, we're pro EVE community.
We are we are pro EVE community. We have the best community. Chat. But yeah, it was super cool, and I think like even if I left that going, how am I gonna convince other people to get here next year? My thoughts weren't even like, I hope we can one up next year. I'm thinking like, how do I get other people into this thing because it's so much better when you have other people around. I don't think I stopped. I mean, this is going to shock some of you. I don't think I stopped talking the entire weekend. Not just because it's just sort of my natural state, but because there was always somebody new coming up being like, hey, man, you know, I saw you on this. I want to talk about this. Like, here's some ideas. And some of them are great. Some of them are really dumb. But we love them all.
And you'll never know which one.
You'll never know which ones. Some of the ideas go into the ether, and others are valued treasures. So
because everyone gets the same response. Yeah,
everyone gets that. Hell yeah, dude. Yeah, absolutely. We'll think about that. So it is super cool though. It is worth if you're on the fence right now. Don't be on the fence. Like, commit. Just do it. Like, it is worth it. It is worth it. Yeah. Right. And like, sell your house. You know.
Well,
don't do that. Don't do that. But like, just like Convict. Like, I went to my very first player meet. It was just a corp meet.
Yeah.
It was just one that was local, and I'd never been to anything like that before. And I know I've told this story before, so apologies if you've heard it. But I went there and I was like, these people don't know what I look like. If they're like kind of weird, I'll just like sit at the bar by myself and leave after like a drink, and then I'll pretend it didn't happen.
Yeah.
And then I got there and I just like heard some voices that I'd heard on like TeamSpeak and Ventrilo at the time, and I was just like, "Oh, I'm home, dude." And we just got to chatting, and I was like, after that experience, I was like, I need to go to every one of these that I can. Like, I'll go to FanFest, I'll go to Vegas, and I didn't miss one like after that. It was just such an intoxicating experience to be with the people that I have like really great like memories with, really great experiences with, and even the people that I don't fly with or that I did fly with, like, we still had so much weird stuff in common that it was really easy to get along with them.
Yeah.
So like, even if you don't have like a core friend group growing, you'll still have like you'll be with your people no matter what.
You will always have something in common with somebody else at FanFest.
Yeah.
You'll always have at least one thing in common. That is Eve, baby.
I mean, I've said this before. Like, if you go to Eve FanFest and all you have in common with everybody else there is that you play Eve Online, you've already got like so much more in common than you with everyone than you would in just any random group of strangers, right?
Yeah.
You've got that commonality, and even if you're like, I feel a bit awkward about like, what's the correct word? Sort of like proclaiming just like, my passion, how nerdy I am for this game.
Yeah,
dude, everyone else there flew to fucking Iceland to do this. Like, you are not.
Max Singularity dressed up like a pope and walked across town to Harpa.
Yeah.
You cannot get more unhinged than that. And the man looked good doing it. So like, let your freak flag fly, baby. Come on.
That's exactly what it is. Go for it. Don't be a shy nerd.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Let open the bottle, let the genie out.
Yes.
But yeah, FanFest, eveonline.com/FanFest. Tickets are still available. Go get some. We've sold out. I think we've sold out every FanFest for like the last 3 years. Yeah. So don't wait too long. You know, I'm not trying to like, it's going to sell out. Better go buy them. We're going to lose on tickets.
I'll do that. Yeah.
It's probably going to sell out.
Buy tickets.
So if you're entertaining any idea of coming, just get onto it, rather than face disappointment.
We've had other meetups though. We just had the Eve London.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
And CCP Sellers and GM Banquet couldn't join us on Live Defeat because they were there having fun.
Yes.
I was a little jealous. I've been to that one a couple of times. It's a really good time.
Yeah, it was one. Dimitri Slavic's been organizing that particular event for years and years and years now.
Yes.
This is one of the, I think it's the oldest still ongoing Eve player meetup.
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
I think that's very.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I'd say. I think
it goes way back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They basically just they filled up the pub that they booked, and they had to have an overflow pub down the street for extra people to hang out at, and they were just like moving among them.
We've had first pub, but what about second
pub? Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and then apparently the whole stretch of road between the two was also just full with Eve players.
There were a bunch of devs there from the London office as well. A bunch of the Vanguard devs were there.
Yep,
which is pretty cool.
Yep, CCP Gortz was there as well.
Gortz was there. Shout out to
first player meetup, I think.
Hell yeah. We haven't seen a ton of him since then. I wonder if he survived the weekend. I assume so.
I didn't hear any tales about POS fuel being shared, so that's good.
Okay, that's the POS fuel's dangerous stuff.
POS fuel is dangerous.
That's why we invented fuel blocks.
That's true.
Just take that off the table. But no, Eve London was another big success. So if you're not even if you're in the London area, if you live in the UK or in Europe. Yes. Like, it's a big player meetup. It's a good time, and it's worth getting along to. And it's relatively easy to get to if you live
it's super accessible
within like 500 miles of London, because there's planes, trains, and automobiles that you could be taking to get there.
Everyone's super cool. People are very friendly. They've all got fun accents. It's a great time. It's a good time to go.
And speaking of other big meetups, there is another one coming up in just about a week or so. Eve Amsterdam.
Yes, I believe on the 13th, 14th, and 15th, and a little bit on the 16th. Eve Amsterdam. Yeah, they've got a Amionia is organizing it now.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
So
So Eve Amsterdam is distinct from Amsterdam.
yes,
But still sort of like
a cultural continuity.
cultural continuity,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, so it's run by Amioma now, who's been doing it for the last few years, and it's been a very cool event.
Yeah, there's some CCP talks that are going to be there. There's some player talks that are going to be there. There's some computers where maybe you can do some shenanigans.
Ooh.
And yeah, just hanging out with fun people.
Yeah.
And
I got a list of the devs who are going here. We got CCP Lumi is going, GM Ren, CCP Stroopwafel, CCP Pinky, CCP Okami, CCP Nomad. You have to go just to see the beard.
Two great beards.
Two great beards. Okami.
Actually, one and two of great beards at CCP. So
They actually have to fly on separate planes.
that's true.
Yeah.
In case one of the planes goes down,
Yeah.
one's the designated beard survivor.
designated
yeah,
beard
that's right.
we need
It's so good.
we need at least one. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you gotta
yeah.
have one.
Yeah, so
yeah.
there's that, and CCP Monty, who is
Oh, yeah.
also going to be there as well.
And CCP Nikon, I forgot. CCP Nikon. will
Oh,
also
really?
be there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
neat.
Cool.
Cool. All right. So, yeah, it's a really good lineup of devs. So, and Eve Amsterdam is a big meetup, but it's not like a huge meetup. There's going to be probably up to 200.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
between 150 and 200.
Yeah. So that's
in terms of
actually
things there.
really good sort of like dev to player ratio. So
Yeah.
if you want to get along to Eve Amsterdam, you want to chat to some devs, you want to talk to CCP Okami about mineral distribution,
Yeah.
or you want to talk to CCP Nomad
Oh,
about
no.
mineral distribution.
Oh,
You'll be able to call them and probably get some good
Somewhere
FaceTime with them.
the hair on the back of Okami's neck just stood up. He doesn't know why.
Yeah.
He's like, wow, there's been a shift.
No, the hair on the front of his neck.
Sure. The beard just
stood
goes,
up.
whoop.
Yeah.
It's like, what's happening?
Well, that's pretty much all I wanted to. So we want all the stuff we had to cover. I have
yeah.
no idea how long we've been talking. It's probably been for a lot longer than I
There
anticipated.
is one more thing that's happening this
Almost an
weekend.
hour,
Almost
57
full hour.
minutes. Dang.
This weekend on Saturday, Shat Squatch is going to be organizing a charity stream
Yes.
for Extra Life.
He's done that before, hasn't he?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's kicking off, I think, at 17:30 UTC in Abzon. You guys know where that is. Easy to get to. Just set your autopilot shortest route, and
Yep.
it's very safe.
That's exactly what you
Nothing
do.
bad ever happens there. You'll
Nope, not once.
easily get your pod through, carry the most valuable cargo you can. But no, there will be ships that they can hand out.
Yep.
And yeah, it'll just be an absolute blast. He'll, of course, stream it. He's one of our
Yep.
Eve partners.
It'll be twitch.tv/ShadSquatch, and that's SCHAD Squatch.
Yeah.
So you'll be able to find the channel that way.
Yeah, but that'll be a lot of fun.
and
I
maybe
know a
to make
couple
a
of us will
donation.
be there too. So
Oh, I'll definitely be there. I'm looking for his. He sent me a message about it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. I mean, anytime you have like just a bunch of players who are getting together for no reason other than just to shoot each other and raise some money for a good cause, it's always, I think, a lot of fun.
yeah,
So,
Eve players are kind of great when it comes to raising money for like a good cause. This there's a really
Yeah,
long
actually.
story tradition of like raising money for charities like
Yeah.
Able Gamers, Extra Life.
Yep.
There have been so many. The Cancer Research Institute just recently.
You know why? It's because we have the best community.
That's true.
That's right. Hell yeah.
We're all from it.
They're all
So that's kind of flattering
we are
ourselves.
we are all
We
from
are
it,
the
yes.
best.
We're all
Very
Eve
best.
players before we worked
Good
there.
Obama
job.
pinning a medal to Obama.
Yeah, that's a nice one.
Yes, the E community, all very, very pious, very altruistic, very attractive.
Yeah.
Everybody. It's true. Yeah, all of them, every single one. So, wormholers are more attractive than others, but in general,
Then why are they hiding?
Why- we want to keep all the beauty for us.
Why do they live in holes?
It's just me in the bottom of a hole with a tent. Be like, hey guys, good stuff.
Welcome to glory.
Welcome to glory.
So what do you call glory? Well,
Listen, the glory was the best option I had. They wanted half that fucking court wanted to call it Goomba Land.
That's actually so good.
I don't know.
Why did you pick that?
you need to
because
colonize
it
another
was
hole.
obnoxious.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting from this.
No, don't, listen. Don't, there will be some people right now watching this who are going to be encouraged by that, and they'll show up in my DMs and they'll all be like, "See, should have called it Goomba Land."
Land.
I wanted to call it Splash Mountain. I thought Splash Mountain would be pretty good, but it's a bit of a mouthful.
No, that's another one for YouTube comments.
Oh yeah.
Glory, Goomba Land, or Splash Mountain. What was the
God
correct
damn
name
it.
for this hole?
They don't have Splash Mountain anymore. It's not a ride anyway.
Is it not?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a tragedy.
Oh, so you don't have to worry about being legally distinct.
that's
anymore,
true.
at
Disney
least.
won't come after us.
Well,
thank goodness.
that's true. Yeah, no, it's please don't make me talk anymore.
All right. So we'll stick a pin in it there. So CCP Bee, CCP Swift, CCP Jötunn, thank you for joining me on the show for a bit of a chit chat today. I have been and will continue to be CCP Convict, I hope. Now I'm really worried. Thank you for joining us on the, and I hope you've gleaned something from this show. I don't know what it would be, but if you have gotten something from the show, that's fantastic. What's that piece again that gets warmed? Remember the piece of anatomy you mentioned before? Like
the
Chrem. The Chrem. We hope your Chrems
I don't know. I will be very clear. Before we go too far, I don't know what that actually is.
Okay.
It's the thing I've said.
It's not like a really offensive Yiddish word or something.
I hope not.
I feel like I've heard it in Borat.
Oh no!
Probably talking about his cock.
What have we done?
I'm going to be completely honest. That's what I think it is.
You're right. I think you're right.
Am I wrong?
We started saying that shit in high school.
Oh no!
We just be like, this gives me a funny feeling at Rem, and I think it may have been
pretty sure it's a Borat reference.
All right, well,
thanks for tuning in, everyone.
Thanks for watching. Oh, Jesus Christ!
Hopefully, it's not the last episode.
I'm just going to end it on that.
Okay,
the show's over.
Okay, that's fine.